Good morning to you. Thank you for joining with me. There was a husband, a bit like myself, who wasn't used to doing much homework around the house, but he decided to wash his t-shirt. He shouted to his wife for help and he said, "What setting do I use on the washing machine?" And she says, "It depends. What does it say on your shirt?" And he yelled back, "It just says Adidas." How many times have you heard the expression, "What we have here is a failure to communicate"? There are two words, information and communication, and they're often used interchangeably, but they're different. Information is giving out, communication is getting through. And I sometimes think in this world, that is our problem. We live in an information age, but not a great communication age. There's a lot of giving out, but very little getting through. Like the priest and the minister and the rabbi who were all standing by the side of a road one day and they were holding up signs. The signs read, "The end is near. Turn yourself around before it's too late." And the first driver that went by yelled, "Nutcases." And from round the bend in the road, these three men of the cloth heard a big splash. "Do you think," said the rabbi, "we should put up a sign that says, 'The bridge has fallen down'?" A failure to communicate. In the Bible we find words that say, long ago, God spoke to our ancestors in many and various ways by the prophets. But in the last days, He's spoken to us by His Son. In other words, God has been seeking to communicate with mankind since time began. He's been given out, but somehow we're not receiving. We couldn't get it right. We kept making the same mistakes again and again. We hated people we should be loving. We killed people we should be introducing to God. We were good at legalism, but not so good at love. So God finally threw up His hands and chose to speak to us in the only way He could, working through the life of His Son. There was no other way. God became embodied in human flesh. And Christ came in response to a failure in communication. In Jesus we find God speaking to us, talking to us. And indeed that's the simple message of the whole of the New Testament. Here is what gives life value. God loves us, wants to get through to us. Our lives matter. Here's the ultimate answer to all human dilemmas. We are loved. When we're feeling down, we might say to ourselves, "It doesn't matter what I do in my life. I'm a nobody. Who cares whether I'll ever die?" And a voice comes from the heart of the universe that says, "I care." How do we know God cares? Because God allowed His Son to die on our behalf. I often think Jesus could have avoided Calvary. I think He wrestled with that out in the desert for 40 days. He was tempted to do what He might have wanted to do, but instead He went a different way. He could have given people what they wanted: money, power, prestige. That would have been easier. All He had to do was not make trouble. But He chose a different way, the hard way, the way of faith. And the way of faith and conviction is not always easy. But He did it in order to assure us, as it says in John 3:16, God so loved the world, and He loves us. Please believe that, and God bless you as you do. Thank you for listening.